My name's Rick, and I'll be your host. The topic for this month's webinar is site construction basics. Now, what does that mean? Well, here's what the agenda looks like. We're going to go back and we're going to look at the WordPress installation we set up last month, and we're going to talk about the basics of plugin selection. We're going to pick out a few of my favorite plugins and add them to the site. Then we're going to create a menu for the site, and then we're going to add some items to that menu. And then we're going to build an About Us page, and we're going to build a Contact Us page. And we're also going to go ahead, I think, and set up a blog. So let's go ahead and do those things, even though that's not on all the agenda points. So with that in mind, here we go. To get started, let's go ahead and go back to the installation we set up last month. You can use whatever you want. I'm going to use the one we put together the last time we were together, and I'm going to log into the administration interface. Here's our basic bare bones admin system. There's not much in here at this point in time. We haven't added any content yet. In fact, the last thing we did was we rearranged the things on the screen, and that's really all that's been done. So whenever I build a WordPress site, there's a set of plugins that I like to add in, plugins that add some basic functionality that I always use on every single site. And I'm going to take you through part of those right now, at least all the ones that are relevant to what we're doing today. So you're going to see that process of plugin installation, and you'll get some tips about some plugins as well. So let's go to the plugins menu. Let's choose installed plugins because I want to see what's in here now. All we have are the basics that come with the system. There's the Akismet anti-spam plugin and the Hello Dolly plugin, which is actually a demo plugin. It basically helps people understand how to write plugins for WordPress. To be honest with you, you really don't need it in your system. You might as well just go ahead and get rid of it. Click delete, ask you to confirm. Yes, let's go ahead and do that. And then it'll wipe those out. As a general rule for site security, if you're not using it, delete it. Get it out of the system. I'm going to leave Akismet in here because that's actually useful to us. Note that Akismet is really nice anti-spam protection. It does come from Automatic, the people that make WordPress. That's a good thing. It generally means that the plugin is going to be maintained and it's closely tied to the WordPress core, so it's very compatible with everything. Akismet, you can use it for free if you're running a non-commercial site. You just need to go to the Akismet website, like it says here, sign up for an Akismet plan. Get the API key and go ahead and set it up. If you're running a commercial site, however, you need to subscribe to Akismet. So it's free for non-commercial use. It's paid for commercial users. If you do have a non-commercial site, you definitely positively want to go ahead and turn this on. It will decrease the amount of spam you have to deal with. All right. Let's go ahead and install some of my favorite plugins. In this webinar, one of the things we're going to do is we're going to build a Contact Us page. So I'm going to go ahead and install my favorite contact form plugin, which is called Contact Form 7. Now, here I'm going to, I've put it in the wrong box. Let's take that out of there. That's for searching our installed plugins. I need to click the Add New button. I'm always doing that. You'll see why in a second. See, there's the box where you can type it in. So we're going to go ahead now and we're going to search for this plugin in the WordPress plugin database. They give you some suggestions here, some things you may want to install, and that's just their way of getting you started. And then they have plugins organized by tag below that. But I know the name of this. I know what I want. So I'm going to type that in there and I'm going to hit return. Now they're going to search the plugin repository for what I've asked for, and there it is, Contact Form 7. Let's go ahead and install that now. I know I want that. I've used it many times. I like it. There are plenty of other contact form plugins out there. This one, however, is my favorite. So it's installing. We get a status message here. Once that's done, it'll prompt us to activate it. You want to do that. If you don't activate it, you can't use it. So now I've activated that plugin. So there's our contact form plugin, which we're going to use today. We're also going to be setting up an About Us page, and we're going to be setting up our contact form and our blog. There's nothing in particular that I really want to add to those. So let me just put in a couple of other really basic things that I feel every site should have, both of them oriented for purposes other than content. Number one, for performance. And for performance, we want a caching plugin. So I'm going to enter uh, something, or I'm going to search for something called WP Super Cache. There are several different caching plugins out there. This one is a very simple one to use and very effective. Once again, look at this. I told you I do this always. I search the installed plugins. Add new. That's the button we need. You'll watch me make that mistake over and over again. Yeah, I'm a pro. Hey, you know what? Look at this. They're promoting WP Super Cache right here on this page, so I don't even have to search for it. I'll just click the Install Now button. That's the one that I wanted. And again, we get the installation update message. Once it's done, again, we'll get prompted to activate it. The speed with which this occurs depends largely on the speed of your internet connection. Click Activate Plugin. Okay, I swear I'm not going to make the same mistake for the third time. So now when it drops me back on the plugins page, I'm going to click the Add New button instead of searching in the wrong place, because I want to add another plugin called WordPress SEO. It's also called Yoast SEO. Search for that. There it is. This is a search engine optimization plugin to help you with your marketing and your search engine optimization for the site. It's a complex plugin, but it's really worthwhile. So click Install Now. There we go. It's done. Let's activate that. Now, as we activate these, you'll see that messages appear prompting us to take further action. And usually that further action is to take a tour or to configure things or to turn something on. We'll get to all that stuff in a little bit. Right now, I'm just loading up all the plugins. Okay, let's go back to Add New. SEO is great, but we also want Google Analytics to track the activity of the visitors on our website for marketing purposes. And for that, I like a plugin called Better Analytics. It would really help if I spelled it right. There it is. This plugin gives me a little widget on my dashboard so I can watch my Google, my site traffic. There it is, Better Google Analytics. And it also has a pro version and a free version. The pro version is absolutely, perfect for what we want to do. The free version, rather, is fine for what we want to do. The pro version is very useful if you're running WooCommerce or another e-commerce site. Okay, so now I'm done with all the plugins that I want to install for today. Now, let me tell you why that is. What I've done here is, let's go back to our installed plugins. I've installed something that allows us to build contact forms. That was our contact form 7. I've installed something that helps us with our performance. That's WP Super Cache. I've installed something that helps me with my search engine optimization. That's Yoast SEO. And I've installed something that lets me track the traffic on my site. That's Better Analytics. Oh, notice I didn't activate that one. Let's go ahead and do that now. So from a really basic functionality point of view that pretty much everybody wants to have, those are the things that you need. Now, everybody's favorite list of plugins is a little different. And if you talk to another developer, they may prefer a different SEO plugin or a different caching plugin or a different forms plugin. That's fine. I'm showing you the things that I know in my experience work very well. And I do build a few WordPress websites. Feel free to try these out. If you find something better, great, go for it. And definitely, if you find something you really like, turn this on to it here. We like to know about that. Now let's go back and look at all these messages that we have. First, it tells us that our Google Analytics Web Property ID is not selected, and it prompts us to input our Google Analytics Web Property ID. Well, you know what? I don't really need that right now. I'm still in development, so I'm just going to ignore that. Same thing here. It wants me to link it to the API functions. I'm just going to wait on that. Super Cache is disabled. Well, I want it to be disabled during development. When the site is actually live and it's ready to go, then I want to enable it. Next one here, it prompts us to connect with Google Search Console. Again, this is sort of SEO setup. I'm not going to worry about that right now. And I can dismiss this, so I'm going to do it. And then here we have a promotional message from Yoast SEO inviting us to take a tour. Let's get rid of that. And then here it's asking us to add a WordPress tagline, and it actually gives us that message twice. So let's get rid of that and that. And then the last one is simply a status message that tells us we activated that last plugin. You know what? It's WordPress Super Cache that's prompting us here, and it's Better Analytics that's prompting us here and here. Those are going to keep bothering us the whole time that we're developing. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to actually deactivate those two plugins so they stop pestering me. Okay. They're still installed. They're just not turned on. So they're not going to bother me. See, all those error message or prompts went away. We can turn those back on when we're ready to go. Okay, so there is a basic set of plugins that you can install that'll get you going. There's a ton of plugins out there. There's a running joke in the WordPress community that whenever anybody asks for anything, the standard response is, "Oh, there's a plugin for that." And there's a lot to be said for that. However, not all plugins are created equal. And I think you'll find that you will naturally tend towards having some favorites of your own. The whole process of weeding through the entire plugin library and finding good stuff that is compatible with your version of WordPress, that does what you want it to do, that looks nice, it kind of goes on, and it's a bit of a rabbit hole. And I don't know how many times I've tried out one plugin after another, throwing them all away, deactivating them until I finally found something I can live with. That's the sort of thing that you gain through experience, and there's really no shortcut for that. What we'll do is either the next webinar or the webinar after that, either December or January, we'll actually dive in depth with plugins, and we'll come up with perhaps a standard build for WordPress where we look at a set of plugins that do a wide variety of the things that people want to do. And hopefully at that point in time too, those of you who are listening in can contribute with what your favorites are, and we can go back and forth a bit about that. But I don't want to spend too much time with it today, because I want to focus on those basics of site construction, getting in the bare essential plugins that you need, and then creating those essential pages and the essential task of creating a menu and creating your menu items. So let's go ahead and stop right there with our plugin creation, and let's shift gears and let's go build a couple of pages and create a couple of blog posts. So what I'm going to try to do here is I'm going to try to create a website that has a blog and then has some basic standard pages like an About Us page and a Contact Us page. Now I'm going to go ahead and stick to the default WordPress theme that's distributed with WordPress 4. This is 2015. To be honest, it's really not the world's prettiest theme, but for our purposes right now, it's adequate. I want to focus on the other techniques, and then we'll look at theming in our next webinar. In fact, that's definitely the topic for the December webinar, because I don't want to look at 2015 all the time. Let's look at the way this front end of this theme is structured, because it's something that we're going to have to take into consideration as we create things. This is a two-column layout where this central content area takes up 2/3 of the screen or so. And this area over here called the sidebar takes up the other 1/3. Now, this is where the central area, this is where our posts and our pages are going to appear, and comments are also going to appear. And that's what we have on the screen right now. Is we have a post, and this is the one that comes with the default WordPress system, and the first comment and the commenting form. Again, this comment actually comes with the default WordPress system. They've loaded you up with a couple of sample things so you can get a feel of what they look like and how they work. Over here in the sidebar, we have the site title and the site tagline. The site tagline, just another WordPress site. That's a standard tagline that comes with all WordPress installations, and we can change that. In fact, we may do that in just a second. Then underneath that in the sidebar, we've got a set of widgets. And widgets are things that give you little bits of functionality or content that are displayed in the sidebar traditionally. So what widgets do we have here? Well, we've got site search. We've got a widget called Recent Posts. We have another one called Recent Comments. We have a widget called Archives, and this is a chronologically organized collection of your prior posts. We've got a widget called Categories, and categories are things that you use to group together WordPress posts. And then we've got the Meta widget, and the Meta widget is sort of a utility widget. It gives you a link to the login screen. It gives you a link to the RSS feed for entries, the RSS feed for comments, and a link back to the WordPress.org site. To be honest, the Meta widget really doesn't have a lot of functionality that you probably want to have on your site, and I never ever publish it on sites. I kill it off. So as we create posts and pages, they're going to go over here. And if we want to rearrange or add things to the widgets, they go over here in the sidebar. Now, in 2015, the main menu also goes in this sidebar, but in the default installation, there is no menu created or any menu items assigned to that menu. So one of the things we're going to do in this exercise today in the webinar is we're going to create a menu, and we're going to create menu items so that you have some navigation over here. I mean, if you look at this page right now, there simply is no navigation other than what's supplied by the widgets. So let's go ahead now and take a look at the back end. I want to create for this site a blog, and I want to create for this site a couple of content pages. Now, the blog is done with posts. The content pages are done with pages. So let's start by going to the posts manager, and I just clicked on posts. Here's a list of all the posts in the system. There's that default post that WordPress gives us called Hello World. You know what? I don't want to see that thing anymore. I'm just going to click trash and throw it away. Now, the nice thing about the trash in WordPress is it's non-destructive. When you move things to the trash, it simply clears them off this screen, but they're all right here under this trash link. And you've got about 2 weeks to decide whether you want to restore them. After that period of time, they go away. Before that 2 weeks is up, you can restore them, put them back into action. Now, I want to have a blog, and my blog is going to be about, I don't know, let's say this site is about, it's about jazz. All right, let's talk about jazz today. So I'm going to blog about jazz. And so that means I'm going to create a new post, and I'm going to give that post a title. I'm going to call it The Joys of Bebop. Then I need to put some copy into the body of that post, and I'm just going to go ahead, and I have a Lorem text application. I'm going to go over here and just copy some dummy text out of my Lorem app. And I'm going to drop that in. Another couple of paragraphs. There we go. So now I've got the content for a basic post here. Over here on the right, I can choose a format, and I'm going to use the standard format, which is what you'll typically use for most blog posts. Categories. Well, the only category is uncategorized. Well, I want to have more categories than that. I want to break up and organize my posts by topic. So what category am I going to use for this? Well, I'm going to create a new category for this, and I'm going to write a lot about bebop. So I'm going to add bebop as a category. Now it's selected. There we go. Now, the tags on this, well, if you want to put tags with this post, you can. Repeating your category is redundant, so let's not put bebop up there. Let's put in history. You can separate multiple tags. Let's see, we're going to talk about John Coltrane in this post. So we're going to talk about Charlie Parker as well. So those are the tags that we've added. So let's click the add button, and now we've got tags. If we had a featured image, we could add the featured image here. Right now, I don't have anything appropriate to put with this, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to publish this, and that first post is created. Now, the way this theme is configured, the default configuration of this theme is the home page is the blog. So the default structure of WordPress is as a blogging CMS. So if I hit refresh right now, or if I click and go back to the home page, you'll see that my most recent blog post is what appears on the home page. And notice down here, it has a list of our tags visible as well. It doesn't show the categories, but you will find the categories over here on the left. Remember that categories widget? It now shows us the list of the categories. There's only one. It also shows us in the recent posts widget, the most recent post title, The Joys of Bebop. Now, let's really see how this works out by, let's throw up another article right now so that you can see how this would work. I'm going to go ahead and click Add New again. And let's write something about Duke Ellington. So we'll call this Cruising with the Duke. Again, I'm going to throw in some dummy text. And this is a different category. So this category is going to be big band. I'm going to add that category. And the tags here, let's tag it with the artist's name. That seems to be the structure we're using, Duke Ellington. And let's put in composer as another tag. And Duke Ellington was a pianist, so let's put in pianist. So there are our tags. Now, if we publish this, and we go back to the front end, and we hit refresh, you'll see that the most recent article appears at the top, and below that, we have the older article. Oh, and you know what? I misspoke a while ago. This does show categories. There's the category, big band, and there's the category bebop. And then there are our tags, composer, Duke Ellington, pianist. So over here on the left, look, we have the most recent posts, and we have our categories, bebop and big band. Now, I like the idea of putting what sort of an instrument they play in the tags. So Duke Ellington was a pianist, so I added pianist. In here, I said I was going to talk about Charlie Parker and John Coltrane. Both of those guys are saxophonists. So let's go back and let's add the saxophonist tag to the previous post. Well, there's an easy way to do that. You go back to the post manager, and here's a list of all those posts. Well, there it is, the Joys of Bebop. That's the one I modify. And you can see here it shows us the category and the tags. Well, I could go in and edit it, but that's slow because it reloads the whole page. Or I could just click Quick Edit. That shows me the categories and the tags. And so I'm going to add to this saxophonist, tricky spelling, and I'm going to click Update. So there, I've edited it without having to go into the whole thing and do it. So the quick edit's really has good utility value. You know, when you click quick edit, you can change the title, you can change the slug, which is the URL, publication date, you can password protect it, you can change the categories, change the tags, determine whether comments are allowed, or you can hide it or publish it as the case may be. If you've made no changes, just click cancel and that closes right up. All right, so we're well on our way to creating a blog now. We've got a couple of sample posts in the system. We've got a couple of categories in the system, and we've got tags. Now, your categories and tags can also be managed independently of the articles. So if I click on the categories tab over here, this gives me a list of my categories and makes it possible for me to add new ones. So if I want to create a category called Dixieland, I can do that, and it will pop it right into the system here. But if I go back to the front end now, and I hit refresh and look at the categories list, see, Dixieland doesn't appear. That's because it's an empty category. The first time that I actually assign something to Dixieland, then it will appear on the list. And what does this list do? Well, if I click on this, it'll show me all the posts that are marked in that category. So if I click on Bebop, it shows me, oh, this is the category Bebop. Here are all the posts. Well, right now there's only one, but in the future there'll be more. So it's a really what we call an accelerator. It's a way for your site visitors to jump to particular content very quickly. And you can do the same thing with tags. You can actually add a tags widget over here as well. In fact, you know what? Let's go ahead and do that now. As I look at this list of widgets, there's this meta widget, which I don't like. I'm going to get rid of that. There's categories, there's archives. Well, you know, we just started this blog. Archives doesn't serve any purpose. Recent comments, well, comments are great, but we don't have any yet, so maybe we'll get rid of that too. So let's go take a look at widget management. And how do we do that? We go to Appearance, click on Widgets, and then here we have it. This is our widget area. That's the name they give to the sidebar that holds the widgets. And these are all the widgets that are available in the system. Now, here are the ones we have now. See, there's search, recent posts, recent comments, archives, categories, and meta. If you click on the little triangle here, it expands and you can actually manage it and work with it. Well, I don't want this thing, so I'm just going to click delete. It's gone. Categories I want. Archives, again, I don't want this. Delete. Recent comments, not quite yet. It's a new blog, maybe sometime later. I got rid of it. Okay, it's gone. Then I've got recent posts, search, and categories. That's good. I want all of those things. But I also said you can add tags, and here it is. There's the tag cloud widget. So if you just click this and drag, you can pull it right over here, and you can just drop it in wherever you want it, in whatever order you like. I'm going to put it right here. And, you know, I'm going to actually change the title on this. I'm going to change this to Browse by Tag. And I'm going to click Save. And that means I'm going to change this one too and say Browse by Category. Click Save as well. Okay, now let's go back to the front end and see what we've done and see what the impact of all that is. Let's go back to the home page. Okay, here we go. And this is simplified now, and this is nice. It says recent posts, browse by category, browse by tag, and there's our list of tags. So if I click on one of these tags, it'll take me to a tags page. There's the tag, John Coltrane. Here's the articles that have that tag. Again, it's an accelerator. It's an alternative navigation scheme for your visitors. Now, let's work on creating those static pages, those important pages that most sites need. That would be the About Us page and a Contact Us page. I'm going to do that by going back here to the back end. I'm going to go to Pages. This is our Pages Manager, just like the Posts Manager. It's a list of all the pages in the system. This sample page here actually comes with the default installation, so I don't want this thing. I'm going to throw it in the trash. What I want is an About Us page. So I'm going to click Add New. I'm going to give my new page title. I'm going to put in some copy. Tells them all about me, all about the site, why I've created this. And I'm going to click Publish. And this is now ready to go. But there's a problem, which is we don't have a menu on the front end that links to the About Us. So it's really not possible for us to see this page on the front end. So we need to go fix that. And how do we fix that? Well, we fix that by creating a menu and then adding items to the menu. So let's go ahead and do that now. Menus are under the Appearance option. Select Menus. Here we are. The default WordPress installation has no menus. So let's create one. Let's call it Main Menu. That's easy. Give it a name. Click Create Menu. And it's done. So there we have it. And it asks where we want it. Theme locations or auto add pages. Auto add pages will just automatically throw pages in there. I don't like that. I just manage my menus manually. No surprises that way. Theme locations determines where it appears on the page. And there's two choices, primary menu and social links menu. Well, this is my main menu. I want it to be my primary menu. So I'm going to click Save. Now, at this point in time, there's nothing on the menu. Menus realize they're containers, and they're containers that hold menu items. And the items are over here on the left, and it can be either pages, or it can be posts, or it can be custom links that you've created. That's where you can create your own URL, or it could be a link to our categories. Well, in this case, I'm going to use our pages, and I'm going to select About Us, and I'm going to add that to the menu. Let's save that now. Okay, now let's go back to the front end. Let's go to the home page again. And boom, there we have it. The main menu showing About Us. Now let's go ahead and see what else we can do with that. We were going to create a contact page as well, right? So let's go to our pages. Let's choose Add New. Let's give it a title, Contact Us. Now we're going to put a form on this page, but forms usually need some instructions. So let's just say on here, please use the form below to get in touch with us. We'll get back to you shortly. Thanks. I'm going to go ahead and publish that. And so now we have a page, but the page doesn't have a form on it. And, you know, it's really nice when you can give users a form. So we installed that Contact Form 7 plugin. So let's go create a form now, shall we? So you click on Contact Forms. Contact Form 7 is really neat. They actually give you a sample form to begin with. So if we click Edit here, this one was already built into the plugin. You see it's a form, and it's a bit hard to see here, but you can figure it out. The form says your name, your email, subject, your message, and then submit send. That's actually the send button. Now we can build our own form and we can add things to this form. But you know, this is actually really good for a contact form. So I'm just going to use this for my contact form. Now notice what it says up here in blue or above the blue bar. It says copy this shortcode and paste it into your post page or text widget content. In other words, we have a form, but we don't paste the form into the page. We use what's called a shortcode, and shortcodes in WordPress look like this. They've got these brackets on each side of them. So I've copied that shortcode. I'm going to go back to the pages now. I'm going to go to Contact Us and click Edit. I'm going to hit Return, and I'm just going to paste that shortcode in there. I'm going to click Update. Now, we've created the page, we've added the form, but there's no link to it on the menu yet. Nobody can get to this. So what do we have to do now? We have to go to Appearance, Menus. And now let's add Contact Us. See, we have a new choice here. Let's add that to the menu. There it is. Let's save the menu. Now let's go back to the front end. Let's hit return. Reload the page, not return. Okay, and here's our menu now. It says About Us and Contact Us. Let's look at that About Us page. There it is. Now let's look at the Contact Us page. There it is, complete with the form, and that form's ready to go and ready to use. Now it occurs to me as I look at that About Us page, you know, the site's really suffering from a lack of images. Let's see if we can't dress up this page. So let's go back now to the back end. Let's go back to Pages. Let's edit the About Us page and add a picture of our place of business. So I'm going to click the mouse there at the top left. I want the picture to appear there, and I'm going to click the Add Media button. Now with the Add Media button, you have a choice of the media library or to upload the files. Well, we need to upload the file and get it on the server. So I'm going to click Select Files. Then I'm going to find a photo of our place of business on my local computer. It's right there. So I'm going to click Open. It's going to upload that to the server. It's going to ask me over here, where do I want that to appear? And I want it to appear on the left side of the page. I want it to have no link. And what size do I want? Yeah, I take that medium size, that's fine. And I'm going to click Insert into Page. And there it is, you can see it. Click Update now to save our changes. And then let's go back on the front end of the website and take a look and see how this looks. So I'm going to reload this page. And there it is. That's very, very simple. We managed to put an image in there. It's got nice spacing around it. The text wraps around it without any problems. It's exactly what we want. You know, it is really, though, it really would benefit from having a caption, wouldn't it? So let's go back and let's caption this. I can move my mouse over this, and when I move over my mouse over the picture and I click, I get these choices here. I'm going to click the Edit option. And here's our caption. And I'm going to put in here, our office. Bye-bye. And I'm just going to click Update. Once I've done that, I got to click Update here as well to save this page or save the changes to our page. Let's go back to the front end. Let's reload the page. And now our photo has a caption as well. Okay, so what have we accomplished here? Well, we've added some blog posts. We've created an About Us page. We've created a Contact Us page. You know, what we don't have is we don't have a link to our blog. And we really don't have much of a satisfactory landing page for our homepage. It just drops us in on the blog. Well, we could create a dedicated page for the homepage that introduces people to the site. And then we could add the blog link over here on the menu. That would be a logical way to improve the presentation and make the site look a little more professional and break us out from being purely a blog, which is all we are right now. Let's go ahead and do that. It's not hard. What we need to do first is we need to create a page that we're going to use for the home page. Now, with a lot of themes, you can put in a title up here and not show it on the home page. With others, that doesn't work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave just a generic title here. Welcome to Jazz. And whoops, our contact form contents here. Let's go back and get some more lorem text that we can use. Okay, so we can use that for our content. We can dress this up with some images later on. I just really want to show you the technique now. So let's publish Welcome to Jazz. Now we've created this page. What we need to do is we need to tell the system to use this page for the home page of the site. And we do that by going to Settings and choose Reading. This is where we can choose what the front page displays. You see the default value is your latest posts. Well, we want to use that for the blog, so we're not going to do that. We're going to choose a static page, and that static page is Welcome to Jazz. Now it asks us what we're going to use for our post page as well, so let's go ahead and fix that in just a sec. I'm going to go ahead and save the changes here first because I want you to see this. Now if I go back to the home page and I reload the home page, bingo, Welcome to Jazz. But we're still lacking that link to our blog. So let's go back and create a dedicated page that we can use for our blog. and I'm just going to call it the Jazz blog. And I'm going to publish that. Okay. And I'm going to go back to settings, reading. And I'm going to designate that as our post page. Okay, so now all of our posts are going to appear on that in standard blog format. I'll show you that in just a second. But again, we've created a page. We haven't given it a link on the menu. Now we're going to go ahead and give it a link on the menu. So I go to Appearance, Menus. And I'm going to click the Jazz blog, and I'm going to select that. And, you know, let's give us a link that goes back to the home page. So there's somebody's inside the site. They can find their way back to the home page easily. This is really easy to do. I'm just going to select Welcome to Jazz, that page I created a second ago. I'm going to add that to the menu, but I'm going to rename it by opening it. I just click that little triangle, and I'm going to change the navigation label to Home. All I need to do. Now, notice the order of the items here. This isn't really ideal. So home should be the first one for sure. And now the blog is the heart of the site. So I'm going to put the blog right here on number 2. And I just clicked and dragged, and you can just move things around like that. You can even nest them, make different levels of things too. That's what I like though. Home, the Jazz blog, About Us, and Contact Us. That works great. I'm going to click Save Menu. Now let's go back to the front end and let's reload this page. There we go. Home, the Jazz blog, About Us, Contact Us. So if I click on the Jazz blog, what do I get? There we go. There's the blog layout. See, the system does this automatically when I designate that page as the posts page. Then there's our About Us page. And there's our Contact Us page with the form. Meanwhile, over on the left, we've got all of our different posts, and we've got our most recent posts, our ability to browse by category, our ability to browse by tag. Okay, so what have we gotten done here? Well, we've created some sample blog posts. We've created categories for our blog posts. We've created tags for our blog posts. We've trimmed up our widget presentation, trimmed down the widget presentation, gotten rid of some things, added something new. We've created a menu. We've added choices to the menu. We've created static pages, including a home page, a dedicated blog page, an About Us page, and a contact page with a form. We've also added in key plugins that we are going to install and configure and activate later. Really, that's the basics of site construction. We've got our basic plugin package in, we've got our posts in, we've got our blog created, we've got our solid static information that we need. We're well on our way to having the foundation of a site built. Now what we need to do is start focusing on things like the look and feel. What do I want to use for the theme? What little tweaks do I want to my functionality? And of course, load the site up with the rest of the content that we need, really a lot of the window dressings. So if you will come back and join us for the next First Tuesday webinar, we're going to take a look at themes and see what we can't do about making this Jazz website a little jazzier. Okay, we're going to stop right there, and I'll say thank you to everybody who's attended. Hopefully I'll see you next month, and we'll be able to have some more fun with WordPress and make some more progress and learn a few more neat tricks that we can accomplish with the WordPress CMS. Thanks, everybody.